Two Broke Rednecks present...
Does this mean the answers are at the end of the film?
Is this love that I'm feeling? Is this the love that I've been searching for?
Hold on, you're rushing things. I mean, I just met you, film, and you're already talking about marriage and family.
That poor woman would go bald trying to figure out our family relations.
Shouldn't that be Kellic Labs with all the experimentation going on there?
Out of my way, assholes.
Here we see the experimentation room.
I'll never get all these lice out of my hair.
Hi, Peg. Well, you look more excited than I've ever seen you before, and that's saying something. What's up?
Oh, Liz, you'll never guess. I got engaged to Joe. We're going to be married at the end of the semester, right after Joe graduates.
What?
But what about our lesbian affair?
A couple of months.
Oh, exactly 3 months and 3 days.
But Peg, are you going to drop out of college before you graduate? I mean, you've only got another year to go.
Oh, Liz, everyone isn't as slow as you and Andy.
Burn!
I want to get married in June. Joe's been told he has a good chance of getting a job on a pro football team this summer.
Sadly, it's in Austria.
You going to phone your mom and dad about getting engaged?
I'm scared stiff of what Mother will say. She'll raise the roof.
Mom's gonna party like it's 1999.
Don't be silly, Peg. You always talk as though your mother was an ogre or something.
She's Shrek and Fiona's daughter.
Too much. And Mother will be furious. Every so often she writes to ask if I've seen Pete Standish. You know, just because his father's a big-time real estate man and he's Mother's idea of a perfect catch. Compared to Joe, Pete's so dull.
It made lumber board.
So handsome.
Honestly, Peg, I don't know how many times ever since we were in high school together I've heard you go on the same way about some man or other.
They were in high school together? What, as faculty and student?
This time it's the real thing.
I remember when I first felt that way about Andy.
Only I couldn't get him to give up that stupid cowboy toy.
Gosh, Peg, you just can't rush into marriage.
Liz, don't mind my saying this, but you and Andy seem so
old-fashioned, I suppose you mean.
No, old.
well, you've been going together for a year and a half. Last month you finally became engaged. I'm not like that.
Well, that's fine, but are you sure you'll always be in love like you are now?
What do you mean? Liz, how can you say such a thing?
Oh, wait a minute, Peg. Please don't get upset. All I mean is, are you sure you see eye to eye about things like, well, like money and children?
And oral
Or even
sex.
what's right and what's wrong? How do you get along with each other's families?
We don't.
Suppose your parents won't approve. You have to think about these things, Peg.
As far as I'm concerned, you don't have to think if you found the right man.
He's big, if you know what I mean.
You better go and send that telegram.
Dear Penthouse Forum, you'll never believe what happened to me.
Hi, Andy. How's the essay coming? Page 2. Not so good.
Well, I can do an engineering paper in 2 days, Liz. But I've been working on this English assignment for a week, and nothing.
Well, that's because you keep writing it in Spanish.
Yeah, I know.
Look, why don't we meet at the library tonight?
I used to be a high school teacher.
Gee, thanks, Liz. That'd be swell. Hey, look. The lovebirds have arrived.
We must kill them now.
Nothing like advertising.
They got engaged last night. Peggy says they're getting married right after commencement.
Married?
Are they crazy? They should live in sin like we plan to do.
Boy, Peggy thinks it's all hand-holding and gazing into each other's eyes. I guess we were like that once, too. Those first dates were exciting. The more I got to know you, the more I liked what I knew. Though I
But for
suppose
some
what really
reason, it
interests
became
other
boring
things
as
I
paint
think
dried.
about. We seemed to have lots in common, didn't we? There were so many things we could do together.
If only you'd learned to play a better game of tennis.
I wish I could argue with you there.
You really enjoy a good argument, don't you?
It gets me
The
off.
time the dean's rule on drinking came out.
And that was the day I found out we could argue like anything and somehow love each other more. I thought expulsion was too stiff a penalty. One small slip and some guy's whole life could be changed.
There's a lot to what you said then, Andy, but I couldn't entirely agree. Expelling somebody is a serious thing, of course, but so is drinking in a dorm.
This is college, bitch.
So close together.
Drinking in the dorm's the least of your
We
worries.
didn't settle the issue, but it sure was fun trying. I wanted to convince you, and you tried to convince me. Though I guess we became most convinced about each other.
And the fact you go both ways.
Up until a month ago, that finger looked kind of bare. Remember?
Oh, and I can snap this box on your balls when we have kinky sex.
Why does your breath smell like another man's junk?
Gosh, I think our folks were even more excited than we were.
Because they knew they finally got you out of their
Go
house.
back to the dorm?
Hi. Hi,
Oh,
Joe.
yeah, Andy. Hey, congratulations, you two. I just heard the news.
Oh, thanks, Andy.
And thank you, Liz, for teaching me that tongue trick. Joe really loved it.
Thanks, Andy. I think I'll run along with Peg. See you later in the library, eh? Bye, Joe.
So long, Liz.
Bye. Bye.
8 o'clock.
Okay.
Have you found a place to live around here?
Oh, I don't think we have to worry about anything. We just find a little apartment somewhere.
Peggy!
Mother, Dad,
Hi, darling.
what are you doing here?
We came up to ask if you're crazy or something. Also to borrow $3.50.
We be?
Now, don't be cross, Betty. Let's hear Peggy's side.
Then we can be crossed.
Well, we've been going steady for over 3 months now. And Mother, Dad, we have such wonderful times together.
Especially in the sack.
Really in love for the first time. We plan to marry right after commencement. It's as simple as that.
Peg, you wrote us last week that Joe was going into professional football. Has he signed on with any team yet?
Well, no, he hasn't got a contract yet. But he's been told he has a very good chance of getting one. After all, he's been the star of our team here this year, you know.
Peg, your mother and I have come down here to ask you to put off your wedding. Until
Indefinitely.
after you've graduated. Now, dear, if you'll wait, we can help you get a house and you can set up a home properly.
Dad, don't you understand? I love Joe.
He's so
We can live in
big.
a little apartment wherever we're situated. Being with Joe means more to me than anything else. And we won't wait.
But, dear, you only have 1 year and a month more to go.
It would be a shame if something happened to Joe in that time, if you know what I
In
mean.
your last year, Joe can get established in football if that's what he really wants.
And
And you'll
hookers.
have some
Oh,
more
the
time to
hookers.
see if you're right for each other.
That theoretical stuff gives me a pain.
In the
We're
butt,
sure
so does
now
Joe.
we're right for each other. And that's all that's really important.
But, Peggy, we want to meet Joe.
Maybe sleep with him.
Why don't we all have dinner together at the hotel tonight? And then he can tell us all about this football business.
And I can tell him it's a silly dream.
And it's just as good as anything else. Joe and I had already made plans for a date tonight, and I see no reason to change them now.
But, Peggy, dear...
You're not going to stop us marrying.
We're not
Yes,
trying to
that's all
stop
we
you
do
from
is pay for
marrying. We
something.
just
He'll
want
get
you to
his own
wait
way.
20 or 30
You
years.
think by treating me like a child, you can force me to do what you want. Well, you're both wrong. I'm no child. I'm me, and I'll do what I want.
And now I want to run out of the room like a little brat.
Don't worry, Betty. She'll get over it. Just a touch of hysterics, that's all. Why, by the time the end of the semester comes, she'll probably be madly in love with someone else.
Like her
Her
roommate.
again in the morning.
Anything yet?
Not yet. Maybe a little bit faster.
Oh, Joe, I'm so mixed up about everything. Folks trying to stop us. They've always tried to run my life.
And now they want me to open a
I
brothel.
wanted to go to a dance at a roadhouse. Dad insisted that I stay at home. I was so mad I climbed out of a window and went to a girlfriend's house.
We lezzed out for hours.
Folks were frantic. They looked all over for me. They even called the police.
Told them not to bring me back.
What a girl. I had so many brothers and sisters, nobody'd have missed me if I'd left.
They'd be like good, one less mouth to feed.
Gone.
Well, believe me, being an only child has its disadvantages. My parents have watched every move I've ever made.
They even made videos of me sleeping.
Joe, we've got to do something. They'll do anything to break us up.
And make me work in that brothel.
I hadn't sent that telegram. Liz hadn't made me.
Look, honey. I love you. I want to marry you.
I love you too, Joe. I don't ever want to be away from you.
Hey, you stuff your bra.
Well, you stuff your pants.
We'll work something out.
Well, good morning, Liz.
Good morning, Mr. Kramer. Good morning, Mrs. Kramer.
Good morning,
So this really is Kramer versus Kramer.
She wasn't in, so we asked for you. Where is she?
I don't really know, Mr. Kramer. She left the room very early this morning before I was awake. She left this note for me.
Oh. Dear Liz, I'm afraid Mother and Dad would try to stop us. So Joe and I left this morning to be married.
Oh crap, now she'll never work in that brothel.
Try to explain that this is something I had to do. I'm afraid they won't understand. Love, Peggy.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Kramer.
Couldn't she have told us how she really felt?
And then learn it was all wrong from us?
Twice in letters. I just thought it was another college crush.
How could she do it?
She knew she was supposed to be my hoe.
Even getting married at the end of the semester would have been better than eloping. Poor darling. Someday she may have so much to regret.
Now I'm off to spread the salacious gossip.
Liz and Andy. Are they really in love? They've been going together for 1.5 years now.
They're just afraid of
Is Peggy
commitment.
right in thinking that Andy and Liz are too old-fashioned? And what about Peggy and Joe? They appear to be in love. They obviously are physically attracted to one another. Right now, they're radiant with excitement and the thrill of taking matters into their own hands.
That's not all Peggy
When
takes
this
in her
excitement
hands.
at the moment settles down, what will remain? Will they be companions as well as lovers? Willing and able to share the realities and responsibilities of having a home, bringing up children, and making a living?
Nope.
There's really no one and only for any of us, until we make it so by our own choice. And when we do choose, we have to know, will this love stand the test of time? How would you answer this question for Liz and Andy?
I'd say, run, dude. This bitch is crazy.
How can you tell? Is this love?
A Crawley film? That means Peggy and Joe were dead the entire time.
For more films that suck, see these titles. Two Broke Rednecks. We don't make bad movies, we make bad movies better.